Every time I lose, and I still, guys, I lose relationships all the time. They happen all the time, right? As you said, like it's rented. Well, you said it perfectly. It's not owned. Like I don't own the rights to any relationship. I have no proprietary exclusivity grasp on any one relationship, whatever. Like people are gonna do. It's an open and free market. But every time I lose, the initial human tendency is to be like, well, f that guy or f this person or god dang this guy, that banker got to get. And I'm a human being, so I do that for 5 seconds. But then I just stop and think, you know what? Actually, this is all my fault. I didn't exert either enough value. I didn't make it clear enough how good I am. I didn't make it clear enough why I'm indispensable and you have to have me alongside. So what do I have to do better? And we just go back to the drawing board and get better. Tweak, tweak, tweak. All those people that like lose in finals and then just keep going back and keep getting up only to get knocked off again, right? They're going back to the drawing board, trying to retool, and then eventually they have the breakthrough. That's not by accident. It's by acknowledging that something didn't go right. We got to fix something, but just use it as an opportunity to get better.
Hey guys, Wally Elibiary. All right, so what is 24/7 mindset? Most times when you hear 24/7, you're thinking what? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just grinding, hustling. You know, I learned over time, a 24-year career in mortgage and multiple other businesses that I own is, unfortunately, you'll get burnt out. I became an absent father, I became an absent husband, and I became a poor business leader because I was trying to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, trying to build a business, maintain a business. When I learned how to work smarter, not just harder, by doing things the best way it could be done, instead of just simply doing my best, I learned how to work only 24 hours a week, 7 months a year, while I got paid from the business residually 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can do the same. Welcome to the show.
All right, 24/7 Mindset community. Thank you so much for making time out of your day to mastermind with Arjun and I. What was super cool about, I guess my lane or my world is I get to meet some amazing people that every single time I'm inspired. And what's super cool about Arjun today is he was purposely chosen for the first podcast of 2026. Purposely. Absolute breath of fresh air, so much energy. And Arjun, welcome to 24/7 Mindset Show.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Were really kind words. And if you wouldn't mind just giving my wife a call and just relaying some of that to her, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, as long as you promise to do the same with mine.
100%, man. You got it. Trade.
It's funny. I was talking to a client 2 nights ago, and he was like, dude, like, what do you want me to do on this loan? I'll do whatever you tell me, Wally. And he just went on and on and on about like how great a relationship. I've done mortgages for this guy since 2004. And he's going on and on and on. I'm like, man, is there any way I can have my 2 college sons call you? And he goes, why? I said, I can't wait till they get in their mid-20s instead of early 20s, where hopefully they'll think dad is smart and like dad like did a good job. But right now they're at that age where they think they know everything about everything and dad knows nothing.
Yeah. Sounds about right, man. I'll be there soon enough.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So talking a little bit about what's when you look back at I look at life like the front windshield of a car and a rear view mirror of a car, meaning as we've got to look back in the rear view mirror so we can understand where we're going with the front windshield. So when you look back the rear view mirror of 2025, what were some lessons you learned in 25 that you feel like you're going to do better in 26?
I think just it was doubling down on a philosophy that I entered 2025 with, which was just maintaining maximum visibility. Like if we're talking about our industry and what we all do, and a lot of people who listen to this podcast, if you're not visible, you're invisible. So that I think is a massive like tenet that everyone needs to like have ingrained in their head, burn it into your heart. Like just recognize with the speed at which everything's moving now, and just all the disruption, changes, evolvement, whatever you want to call it, that we're experiencing, because this is unprecedented. And I think we're going to have a year like we've never had in real estate, whether that's good, bad, indifferent. It's going to be there's no frame of reference for it. But the one way you can combat anything that could be bad or negative potentially is to be visible, because all of us have direct control over that, 100% control over how visible we are. None of us can control who's going to work with us, as much as we like to think that. At the end of the day, there could be a little bit of a slip there, or something could happen, and you think you have that client or that relationship locked in, and it just goes, because it's not always entirely up to you. But what is up to us is how visible we are. So I'd say that, Wally, without a doubt,
So
maintaining
that
that.
I just wrote that in my notes. If you're not visible, you're invisible. Arjun Dinger. So I'll make
There you
sure
go.
when I post that.
Yeah.
That was gold, dude. That was gold. What gave you that aha? Like what gave you that you framed that so well and so simply that it's like really easy to digest. If you're not visible, you're invisible.
Well, you know where it came from? Well, it was, and we had some back conversation on this offline, and then even through, mutual friends or colleagues like Kai McBride,
Yeah.
where back in about 7 or 8 years ago, I was ready to walk away. And most people in the industry know my story this way, but I was ready to walk away from the business because I'd been completely commoditized. I was stood up for a coffee meeting with an agent, and then I got yelled at by agents. It was like the perfect shitstorm that all happened on one day. And so many of us lenders can relate to that, because you have these days and then you contemplate quitting. You're like, why am I in this industry?
Yeah.
And I called him up, and he just said, look, man, I know you're good at what you do, and you know you're good at what you do, but does anybody else? And the answer was no. It was like this real eye-opening, kind of uncomfortable look in the mirror. And he says, I don't know what the answer is, but you have to change that. So visibility was the way that I can combat that, because when I looked at who I competed against, which in my market in San Francisco are large banks,
Okay.
they have the visibility of these big structures, and then everyone associates big real estate deals, big banker in a suit that doesn't fit him. That's pretty much like the connection they make, right? Like a guy who looks like he's wearing his dad's suit, like the coat just overhangs. But that's the banker like mentality. I knew that they are not allowed to be online, and they're not allowed to have any visibility online because of all the red tape and compliance issues, and just corporate obstacles that their banks would present. So I said, this is a place where I can play my strength, or turn this into a strength, because it was nothing at the time. And this is an advantage that I can have, because if enough people know who I am, I'll have enough conversations, and that will lead me to plenty of business. I'm not going to get all the business, and I don't care, but my mission was that everyone in my market was going to know who I was. They may not work with me, but they will all know my name. So visibility was kind of like the main tenet that I just, grabbed onto. And to keep it really simple, that's all I've just focused on. Is what I'm doing giving me visibility? How do I maximize that? How do I throw gas on that fire? Because again, if you're in our business, and as long as you're visible in your marketplace or to whatever niche you served, you will have your at bats, you'll have your chances. But if you're not visible, and you're just kind of wondering where's business going to come from, or you're trying to do it on this like, one-to-one type of level, it just gets exhausting. And also the days are numbered, because everything else is moving at such scale, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I guess what's brilliant about what you just said though is I want you to kind of share like in that rear view mirror. I mean, you've got such conviction in your words, and they're so inspiring. What pain does that come from? Of like in your past that almost made you quit this awesome industry we call mortgage. That then from there, I want you to share like talking about the front windshield. Where are you going with that? So talk about your pain there.
Yeah, I was just tired of like what a lot of us go through, from time to time, which is not being selected, having to sing for our supper. No matter how much experience you have, you're always having to pitch for it, and it's like, when is business going to chase me? When do the tables turn? I have to go out and chase, I have to create, and that's fine. Like, we got in this business all as hunters, right? Like, we know we get to eat what we kill, and we're going to have to be aggressive in going out there. But when you get commoditized, or you're only as good as the interest rate that's painted on your forehead, or in my market, if you're willing to pay for someone's Zillow leads, then they like you. And if not, they don't like you. They're just, and that's what I had become, kind of by accident. It wasn't that I intended to get there, but eventually, if there's no other real value, or you're not known for anything else, you're going to get that way. And I took it kind of personal. Like, that was the chip on my shoulder, is that I knew I had way more to offer than everyone I competed against. I still believe that. I knew I had the ability to create better relationships, be a better value add partner, but that was it. Like, I wanted to be seen as a partner, as a peer, as an equal, not like low on the totem pole, like the way you call, and nothing against insurance brokers, but like they are a little lower on the totem pole in terms of how the culture of our transactions exists. Like you call them, you get a quote. If the coverage is good, you take it, right? Like nobody ever stops to think like, what other kind of coverage could I get? Or am I protected on all fronts? Or how could insurance be used as a wealth creation tool? Like nobody thinks about that. They just think of it as a commoditized, quick experience, transactional. So that's where I'd gotten pigeonholed into or boxed into. And after that conversation with Kai and a few other hard looks in the mirror and just kind of, I don't want to say it was ego, but it was more like pride within myself that I had to reignite and just say, look, I've been doing this at that time 16 years. Now it's, 8 years forward. We're at 24, almost 25 years. I've been doing this 16 years. Like I'm a lot more valuable than the way the market sees me, but I need to change that. We got to change those optics and I have control over that. So I just, with a lot of fire, went after it and I made a lot of mistakes. In the beginning, I paid as what I like to call the dummy tax on a lot of it. But going forward, the mission really isn't all that different. There's just more of an impact wing to it as well, where I'm trying to impact the industry, lift others, collaborate with great guys and mentors and people I look up to like you and what you do in our industry, in our space, and what you've built. And because I feel like we're the unsung hero of every transaction. Like it doesn't happen without us, right? I know everyone thinks the real estate agent is the most important person, but the reality is we're the ones that have to make 1 + 1 = 3. Like we actually have to pull the rabbit out of the hat. And if it doesn't happen unless someone's paying cash, like there's no deal. Yeah. But yet, I tell people this too. Like you also have to recognize if any of that is resonating with you as you're listening to this, or you're kind of tired of feeling dismissed, or you don't feel like you get respected enough, you also get what you tolerate. So if you just keep peddling coffee meeting to coffee meeting, let me take you to coffee, let me tell you about our great service or our great rates, and it's the same pitch, then you're gonna have to just, you're gonna have to tolerate it, because you're gonna keep getting the same kind of commoditized, transactional, price fixated experience. You're only as good as whatever it is that you're bringing to the table that day, nothing else. So all of us need to evolve as advisors, and maybe that's where we, kind of segue into, or I didn't mean to hijack the conversation here while you just got me going, but if we evolve into advisors and, carry ourselves on a higher perch as opposed to being loan officers. I don't even like the expression loan officer because I feel like it's synonymous with doormat. Like it's just kind of outdated, but a mortgage advisor is someone who's respected or sought after or listened to. So we got to elevate. We have to step up in a lot of areas. Marketing and visibility is probably the foremost focus as well.
Well, I mean, when you look at what I love about your work, like the punch in the gut that you received, that if you're not visible, then you're invisible. For me, the punch in the gut was an affirmation that I just taught myself. I've been saying it for like 12 years. And if I want to be valuable, I have to add true value.
Yes.
I think the challenge is a loan officer, mortgage advisor, whatever, we're in this perception that we win our business from our personality. We win our business from how much we get people to like us, right? And you can build a great business on that, but your ceiling's probably 15, 20, maybe $30 million a year in production. But for you to be able to get to 50 million, 100 million, 200 million, like I have, you have to be able to build systems. And for you to be able to build systems, you've got to actually work on your business instead of in your business. And when I started working on my business instead of in my business, I love the quote. I did not come up with it. The obstacle is the way. And when you look at
100%,
number one thing that loan officers are commoditized by is that they feel they need the real estate professional because the real estate professional is who provides in the business. So when I came up with becoming a multiplier loan officer, like 99% of loan officers, like I put in my book, are addition loan officers. They go out there, they get a realtor, they get a loan, they get a commission. They go back to the realtor, get a loan, get a commission. And that's like 99% of our industry. Now, with a 24/7 mindset, you become a multiplier loan officer. A multiplier loan officer, I go to the realtor and I still get that same referral, but I take that and I refer it out 4 different ways. I refer it out to a CPA. I refer it out to a financial advisor. I refer it out to a family will attorney. I refer it out to an insurance agent. That puts me in the driver's seat of adding value, true value to their business. And with our models and scripts, on average, I get 1 to 2 referrals back from those financial advisors, CPAs. I just turned 1 commission into 3 commissions. Talk about, 1 + 1 = 3. I just turned a $5,000 commission into $15,000 in commissions. But what's beautiful and most loan officers don't understand is that financial advisor referral that I got back or that CPA referral that I got back was not connected to a realtor. Now I'm able to hand my realtor's pre-approved clients
That's right.
are not attached to a realtor, and I'm putting income, putting money, putting revenue in that realtor's pocket, where majority of loan officers out there don't have that firepower. So I truly feel I'm a partner because I help them generate revenue versus feeling like a vendor and just receiving business from it.
You couldn't have nailed it better. I mean, like if you want to, comes back to like if you want to be different, you want to be treated different, then you have to like actually act differently, right? And go about it in a totally different way. And you can change the dynamic and actually like put yourself in the power position by going direct to consumer, by thinking outside of what is the normal box, like that whole just addition, as you said. That was beautifully put, because that's the trap. And I was in that trap for literally 16 years.
Yeah.
Call as many real estate agents, take them to coffee. Like, does everyone realize listening to this that a real estate agent does not have to pay for coffee for the rest of the year? They literally have, what month, what day are we? It's, they've got 358 emails for coffee. That'll take them all the way to the end of 2026, to hear the same, and they will gladly do it. They will gladly take someone out, humor you for a bit, look the other way, check them. I'm sorry, I got to get going. I've got a listing to get to. It was great catching up.
Yeah.
Really, you just caffeinated them for the day. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to be different, go outside it, because the real estate agent is thought of for a long time as the gatekeeper to the transaction or the access point into the transaction, or that it all starts with them. No, it starts with the consumer. We all know that consumers should be getting their finances in order first before hopping on Zillow or getting too curious and then engaging with an agent, right? It's like going and looking at cars all day, getting really excited at the Mercedes lot, coming home, figuring out your finances and realizing we have to be at the Hyundai lot, right? Like we went about this backwards, and there's nothing wrong with that. Whether it's a Hyundai or Mercedes or whatever, I think there's much better value in a Hyundai, to be honest with you. But like, it's how it's just the approach. So people have gone back. I couldn't agree with you more. I know for, personally speaking, my number one source of referrals are CPAs, attorneys, and wealth advisors. I kind of lump them all together. Number one. Number two is database. Number three is agents, and I don't want them to climb any higher than that. They will stay at number three. I wouldn't even mind if they dropped to four, if I could find another thing to take that number three position. But they will never go higher than that, because I never want to have all my eggs in that basket. Their industry, I mean, you want to talk about disruption. Their industry is under absolute fire attack. If you're not paying attention to what's going on with the acquisition of Redfin by Rocket and what they're doing, and this is only going to continue to happen, right? As more technology companies, as the company Compass evolves, like the role of the real estate agent or advisor is going to change dramatically. So if that's your single source of relying on business, this needs to be a wake-up call, because CPAs are going nowhere. Attorneys are going nowhere. Wealth advisors are always going to have a place in the market. Like, these people are going to be here, and nobody talks to them. Yeah. And all of us who work in mortgage, who like having higher level conversations about markets and debt structure and instruments and wealth creation, these people that you're talking to had to pass real serious exams to get to where they're at. Have the conversations with them. You'll actually enjoy the interaction. The coffee meetings will get a lot more interesting, as opposed to someone who thinks they belong on a reality TV show. It's nothing against real estate agents, but it's a better room to operate in, Wally, and maybe that's, I think that's probably something you believe in as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at so we as a team just had an amazing, great year, and
yeah,
we just $200 million in funding as a team. And what was beautiful about that is when you look at like my personal production, my personal business, it's 40% past clients database, 30% wealth advisors, that's CPAs, financial advisors, family will attorney, and real estate, and only 30% of it being realtors. I think that's probably when I look back at, I broke 100 million in 2016 was the first year I've ever broke 100 million of self-source business. And you look back at that, it was the first year I made over $1 million in income. But when you look at back at that, 97% of my realtors, 97% of my business used to come from my realtors. 97%.
Wow.
I mean, that talked about, okay, cool. I muscled my way to 100 million. But what's really great is I've used my wisdom and intelligence to get to 200 million, but actually have a quality of life and a quality of business. And I mean, if you look at average credit score back then, and I'm a big data guy, Average credit score back then to get to 100 million with 97% realtor business was like a 696. The average credit score now that 40% of my business comes from my past clients and 30% of it comes from wealth advisors is like a 744. Like, how much more of a down payment can they put down? How much more qualified now is my business? How much higher the credit score is? And it allows us to run more an efficient business with higher
Yeah.
quality caliber borrowers when you get your business not from realtors.
100%. I mean, you just, again, couldn't have summarized it any better. And that speaks to the success and the volume that you guys have done and that you're continuing to do. But again, that space is going nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Like they're not under disruption in the same way. People are dealing with wealth advisors, they're dealing with CPAs, they're dealing with attorneys and bookkeepers. And the quality of the person that is using such a professional for certain things or for these services is generally going to be higher, and they're going to show up much better on paper, which makes our job easier, and it's a much better relationship.
Well, you look at AI, for goodness sake. I mean, if you look at AI, when the ability to be able to get access to MLS listings and realtor and houses that get on the market and be able to, the lockbox can be unlocked for you without a human being there. I mean, when you look at an industry like that, the AI is a huge threat. Technology is a huge threat. These big conglomerate companies coming in, tossing billions and billions of dollars of hedge fund money at the real estate community is a huge threat. But how much threat do we really think are in CPAs? How much threat do we really think of family will attorneys? How much threat through AI do we see of a financial advisor? I mean, is somebody going to sit with a financial advisor that's all AI and be like, yeah, okay, so where should I put my money and where should I get life insurance and like how do you build generational wealth? No, they want a human being because they don't the emotional connection.
Yep. No, absolutely. It's not going anywhere, like you said.
Yeah. So talk to me about, again, we've talked a little bit about the rear view mirror of Arjun. What's the front windshield look like for Arjun?
Well, I think the recognition of these threats that we talked about and like all the disruption, like you can't turn a blind eye to it. You have to know the game has changed. It's changed forever. And how how we have to operate in it now going forward. So I'm well aware of that, and it's I take it as a almost like a personal mission to try and alarm and ring the bell for other professionals, whether they're mortgage advisors or even real estate professionals in general, to be very awake and approach this market with their eyes wide open. Like, yes, there's going to be disruption. The access or the pathway to acquiring a customer is changing. You've got, like, as you said, perfectly there, with AI, technology, all kinds of waves of disruption. So I'm very big on, again, sticking to those core basics of visibility.
Yeah.
And telling everyone that you have to do it. It's not a choice. Like, you have to do it. You're either online or you're not. You're either visible or you're invisible, right? And if you're either talking about it or you're leaving it up to the legacy media to talk about it, right? Like the media drops so many bombs on housing in general because bad news sells. And it's a huge, huge part of the overall economic pie for the US, right? Controls like just under 20% of total GDP, all things related to housing. It's massive. So it's always going to catch headlines. And what captures better headlines or gets more engaged clicks is bad news, right? Doom and gloom. So if we don't speak up, which we have an obligation to as stewards of this industry, right? If we don't speak up and clarify things and say, here's why this is BS, here's why you should care, here's the opportunity in this, here's where this is not exactly right on, like the best example I can give is it was about a year or two ago, maybe 2 years ago, after we had really truly exited the forbearance era. And CNBC had posted an article that foreclosures were up 150% in a certain market. Now that's going to scare the shit out of the everyday, consumer that's just kind of looking, checking, or someone who grew up as a millennial that watched their parents lose everything in the housing market crash of 08, 09. They're going to think, shit, this is happening again. 150%. They remember, I mean, there's a lot of trauma for a lot of that generation. They lost their parents. They watched their parents lose everything. They had to move back in with family. I've heard a lot of the stories, and I know you have too, Wally. Like, so there's real feelings around that, and they're not good. But when you read a headline like that, and I saw it and instantly thought this is absolute categorical bullshit because, and I just did the math and I did a funny video on it at the time. When you start at zero, and if there's one foreclosure, what percentage increase is that? 100, right? And a normal amount of foreclosures, and I gave the data on like what it is by and large nationally, even though I hate talking about a national market because there's 630 micro markets and they're all so different. But I just said, like, if you talk about what a national average of or healthy amount of foreclosures, they happen all the time. It's not a cause for alarm or any panic or a sign that the market's about to invert. So again, these are just examples of if we let the media do all the talking and we don't stand up and do anything, try and intercept those messages and translate it for people, then we have ourselves to blame for why the market's confused or why buyers are scared. Like, all of us truly understand and know and believe in our heart of hearts, there's no market crash coming. The numbers just cannot support it. Unless somehow through a black swan event, supply and demand invert magically, there's no housing market crash on the horizon. So knowing that, we have to speak up and clarify why all this, this bad news is actually either an opportunity or it's just categorical BS or it doesn't apply to the market that you're in. So speak up. I mean, that's what I really see, and that's what I'm championing going forward, as we move ahead here into this year and even beyond, and just empowering people that, like, you have a device, like you have a PR agency right here in your phone. It's not perfect. It's going to continue to evolve. But if you don't tap into this, somebody else will. If you don't speak up, somebody else will. If you don't put on the event or start the podcast or do things that are bold, courageous, going to put yourself out there, somebody else will. And it's a dog eat dog world now, and everyone had better get after it and recognize that.
Yeah, so there's three more topics I want to make sure I get to. Number one topic, I want to talk about this Dinger family, like, mortgage industry takeover thing you guys are doing. Number two, I want to talk about LFG. And the number three, I want to talk about one of our really good friends, Kai McBride. So as a father of two young men, talk to me about, like, okay, is there more than you, your brother, and your sister? Or is it
just us?
Okay, how on God's green earth did all three of you get a mortgage? You're all three huge players in the space. And, like, how did, like, who got in first? Like, who dragged who in? Like, walk me through that.
Yeah, I'm the one to blame. I'm the one who got us all into this. So I started in the industry through a guy that actually connected me to Kai. He's a mutual friend, and you may know him. It's Mark Madsen.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So Mark's my fraternity brother. We're really close friends, at each other's wedding. I mean, he's just a great guy. But he dropped out of school at UNR, where we were going to college in Reno, and finished school down in Vegas, his hometown. But I went to visit him one weekend for his birthday before the start of our senior year. So this was 2001. And he picked me up in an Escalade, and he was in a suit, and he had a Bluetooth headpiece on, and he was talking a million miles an hour. Mind you, again, the year is 2001, so just put yourself back. And it wasn't a good fitting suit. It was one of those oversized ones too. And he was talking so fast, and I'm just in, like, jean or t-shirt and shorts. It was July. I'm in a duffel bag. I've got very few bucks to my name because I'm a broke college student. I go, dude, what are you doing? Are you dealing drugs? Like, this is insane. You're talking like it sounded like the boiler room he was on, like it was a scene from that. And he says, no, I'm a mortgage broker, man, and I need help in Reno right now. And I go, whatever it is you're doing, I'm in. I don't even know what a mortgage is, but I'm in because this looks cool. So that's literally how I got started. It was going door to door and collecting VA signed, hand signed, or paper signed applications for a streamlined refinance program campaign that Mark was running in Reno from Vegas. He was doing postcard mailers. Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
He was just dropping them. So I did that, and he paid me $300 a household, which made me an instant 1%er on my campus. Life got a lot easier that senior year. And then I just said, well, how do I do more of this? So myself, another fraternity brother, and my brother, because my brother's the smartest guy I know. My brother was doing, he was at college at the as well at the time, but he was doing consignment loans at U.S. Bank for work for auto dealers.
Hopefully I don't offend Neil, and hopefully I don't offend you. Who's older and who's younger?
I am. Neil's the far more visible, successful, just impactful guy. But I'm the older one. I always joke that I'm kind of like Johnny Drama. Like Vincent Chase was the younger brother, and Johnny Drama was the deadbeat older brother that was just kind of riding his coattails. I'm kidding, but
and Neil's the middle child.
Neil's the middle child. So I got Neil involved, and Neil kind of took our branch and our team because he was smarter than everybody. And everyone could see this in very short time with how he was packaging files, how he could get things turned around really quick. He knew who to talk to. He knew how to crunch numbers. And so all of us had different lanes with business development, internal ops, and dealing with staff. And we worked, at that spot, it was a correspondent bank in Las Vegas up until the market crash, and then our other partner left. He got into commercial banking. Neil and I stuck it out. Shortly thereafter, because our sister graduated college, and she was getting a journalism degree, but the market was just terrible for everything, right, at that time. And so she went into managing a salon in town and became the GM of it. And the owners like loved her so much they were paying her really well because she was running everything. She was managing payroll, doing all the hiring and firing. She was the face of the business. And my brother actually talked her into like, hey, you should just come do mortgages with us because you're good with people, you're super smart, and you might like this. So she got involved and started kicking ass like right away. I think that was right around 2012. And
Yeah.
quickly became at the bank we were at the time, and now at the current bank, the top lender in the country. All while having 3 kids and managing and tossing out. So they're all younger than me, but I always, I tell everyone that I look up to both of my siblings. And we're all really close. There's a lot of people that have tried to get in between us, and cause friction or whatever. And you know, the desert's filled with a lot of those bodies, of people that have tried to get in between us because nobody's been able to do it yet successfully. I don't think it'll ever happen. But we're all each other's biggest fans. I couldn't be more proud of the two of them and what they've created. Shivani in the female empowerment space, and just being this unapologetic brand. I mean, if you follow her, like she doesn't give two shits about what you think, and everyone loves her for it. And Neil is kind of the guy that showed everybody what was really possible. You could be this person that was introverted or maybe didn't feel very confident in your ability to speak or what to put out there or judging yourself, but knowing that there's something more to offer, but finally getting over that hump. And he's the belief guy, and what he's done. So it's been a fun journey, and it's great that we all get to stay so connected and work together. But yeah, it is odd. People wonder, like, do you guys fight with each other? Like, how does this work? Like, no. I mean, we have quarrels like every group of siblings, but we stick together and we all recognize what each other brings to the table. And like I said, there's no bigger fan of the other two than the one.
Yeah. I think what's super special about that, like, so is that core values like your parents instilled in you? Is that more culture? Is that more what you guys have learned over the years?
I don't know. I mean, there's some of it could just be dumb luck, and I don't want to say it's a cultural thing because then it's like saying in a proprietary sense is just this culture, and other cultures maybe don't have it because there's a lot of people within our culture and they're not close with their siblings. Some of
Yeah.
them haven't spoken for decades. That's pretty common actually in Indian culture. Someone will get insulted or take a joke the wrong way, and then they don't talk for a decade. They're very, very sensitive people this way. They're highly easily offended if you work with them, and I can say that because I'm Indian. I'm allowed to say it, but. No, our parents always instilled in us from a pretty young age. You always got to stick together. They would say things which at the time felt a little bit, gloomy or even morbid. Like one day we'll be gone and it'll be just you three, and you have to stick together. Like we won't be around. They would say that, and we would hate hearing it. I remember specifically, just personally speaking, I would hate hearing that because I didn't want to think about a day that my parents wouldn't be around. I'd get scared thinking about it, but it's true. And that's all you have. And it's easier to go through life knowing that you've got this connection to these people that you shared your experiences with growing up and how you've evolved and you've known like you're basically your whole life, right? And vice versa. So yeah, I think some of it was a little bit of luck. Some of it was just us sticking together because of what our parents have always instilled in us. And don't get me wrong, like we're very different in a lot of ways. So this is why it was such a surprise to people. Like having known us, 20 years ago, you would say, there's no way the three of these guys would all kind of work together, stay in the same industry. Shivani's probably going to do something. Neil's going to probably do something else, with his really high IQ. He's probably going to be like the next Bill Gates or something. And then, Arjun's probably going to be a stand-up comedian or something. Like, who knows? But it just happened that way. So I don't know if we can attribute it to one thing, but I will tell you there is a I can count on one hand, Wally, how many friends I have like this. And
Yep.
this is something that I can say amongst us all siblings. There is this very rare kind of lightning in a bottle set of emotions that we all have in this art of actually being happy for other people. Most people just can't do that. You can't be happy or cheer on other people's success. But somehow this gene got instilled in Shivani, got instilled in Neil, and got instilled in me. Somehow it just came out that way that we can be, even if things are going shitty for us, we can be really happy for the other ones. And I know that might sound a little strange because not a lot of people will identify with that, but it's very true. Sometimes people can't be happy for others until they're okay with themselves. They can't separate the two. If anything, they'll it'll be a bit more envy and ill will that they'll almost wish on to other people. So we all have that, and I'm really, really lucky. I don't know how it happened and what the formula is, but we're
Well,
sticking with it.
I think what's really special about all three of you, and I'm getting to know you. I don't know Neil well other than just what I see on social or him on stage. And I had like a 45-second conversation with your sister. But obviously, you and I have talked the most so far. There's such a high level of like authenticity and like genuineness, which it's amazing the higher you go on the success ladder, how much little that is the higher you go on the success ladder.
It's
So,
so true.
uh,
Yeah.
I mean, how, I want to say how, but what's kept you guys to where you truly, when I watch you promote like LFG, your heart, your 1,000% passion project and what you're focusing on. Watch your sister about empowerment or Neil about Ford. Like you guys are so passionate, but you're so genuine in what you're sharing the message of.
I think it's because we're all byproducts of what the thing is. Whatever that is, like with Neil, with forward and like moving forward, evolving, believing and going from here to there, that was him. That's his personal story. So it's a very easy connection for him to say passionately from his heart, this was me, this was my result. I want the same thing for you. Here's how to do it. And that's a movement that's championed, right? It's not like you're signing up with the trainer at the gym that's out of shape. Like he's actually done it.
Yeah.
Shivani, same thing. Shivani is very staunchly. Sometimes we joke with her a little bit that we wonder, does she actually hate men? Because she has two brothers and a husband and two sons. And I'll even ask her, like, I don't know some of this content, but do you actually like, hey, you want to talk about this? Is there something deeper or no? But she just champions female empowerment, entrepreneurship, having their own identity, not needing anyone or anything else to be able to, make their way in this world. And it's just something she really believes in because she has subscribed to that herself and done it, and she has a great husband. My brother-in-law is a fantastic guy and they make a fantastic team. But again, a byproduct of it. For me, because people believed in me and I knew and recognized from my taekwondo days that the circle you have around you, the team you have around you, that group of trainers, whether they're on the physical side, the nutrition side, the mindset side, the extra eyes, the people that will look out for you and pour into you, that's as far as you're going to go, as good as that is. And if you have the right people, you're invincible, right? So being coached and then turning around and having the great privilege and honor of coaching Team USA for 10 years and pouring into other people and teaching those same principles, this LFG creation, which started as nothing more than just a mantra or a saying, and then turning it into LFG Energy, which has since evolved into a media company and now a private community and a podcast and so many other things, and God knows what else it's going to turn into, is coming from that. I'm a byproduct of literally let's fucking go. Like if it is to be, it's up to me, right? And everybody else can do the same thing. And time is limited here on this planet. Like nobody knows what they have, but if you want to have an impact, which I think is the obligation of every human being, do something, contribute more. All that is not given is lost. Then, again, it made it very easy for me. So it's pretty much a part of who I am. I'm not doing something that's extra. Shivani's not doing something that's extra. Neil's not doing something that's extra. So I think that's where the passion, the alignment really comes from.
Yeah, I think alignment's definitely the key there. So I want the audience to understand more about the Taekwondo, the Olympics. Like, walk us through that journey and how has that impacted you as a mortgage professional?
Well, this is where Kai comes in a bit too, because I got into Taekwondo as a kid because I got bullied a lot. And then it gave me a lot of confidence. It translated well into other sports with coordination and just being able to carry myself, staying fit, being really flexible. That helps, right?
Yeah.
We know this at our age, Wally, like flexibility and mobility is key. It's the difference between having a good day and a bad day, right? Like it literally comes down to these simple things that you take for granted. So it was really helpful with that. And then there was an opportunity to be able to compete at an international level because I competed locally and nationally. And then I just kind of kept it in the background because I put so much time into it. But post college and, I'd continued to advance through the ranks. And then there was an opportunity in 2007 to compete for the national team in the section that I was in for the rank that I was at, because ordinarily everyone at that rank was really old. So they didn't have them involved because they didn't want a bunch of geriatrics out there in the ring hurting themselves. So they opened it up. And I thought this would be really cool to get to represent my country in sport, because everybody has those, you have those dreams, like when you watch the Olympics and you see people on podiums and man, that would be cool, to just represent and wear the stars and stripes, and be even cooler if you get on a podium, and be even way cooler than that if you get on the podium and you get to hear your national anthem, right?
Yeah.
So I thought, yeah, this is cool. So I went out for it, and I had success in that first year because I had the right team of people around me, without a doubt, that I'll never forget. And I kept that same team for the most part intact in 2012. But by that time, I had met Kai when I went to my second World Championships. And Kai was really, really helpful with the visualization. He brought the mental side of it that I didn't have. I was so focused on physical and execution, but visualization, being at peace with certain things, having control over other parts of your life, which is a huge part of performance for all of us, whether we're in business or you're trying to execute as an athlete or whatever it is that you're doing, a big mission. That's a big, big component. So he was huge in that. And then 2012 didn't go my way. I lost, but it ended up being the best thing that happened to me because it retooled and I recalibrated in so many other ways. Then we went on to do a Euro Cup together, which I won, and it was kind of my way back. And then I had one final call that I said, I'll do this one last time in Rome, Italy in 2014, and went out on top and had the dream ending for an athlete. And I even, Kai was like the second text I sent, actually. He still has the screenshot I sent from Rome, because I think I'd sent a text to my mom, who then called my sister because it was really early in the morning here in the States. And then my sister, of course, just was so excited. Shivani just posted it on Facebook. And Kai, if you know Kai, he stalks pretty heavily. Like, forget about the IRS hunting you down one day. Like, you should be worried about Kai McBride catching you and saying the wrong thing on social media, because he's just on it. So he saw it and he just sends me this text, gold ? And then I wrote to him back, yeah, I was just about to text you. It's over. The swan song's complete. There's no way I would have been able to do this without you. And it was an emotional moment, but he still has it. I still have the screenshot buried in my phone too. But that's how it ended. But I'll tell you, staying involved in martial arts and being involved in this kind of a sport and still giving back to it on the international level and coaching our athletes, it ties into business all the time in everything that I'm doing here. There's a fixation on process. There's never really resting on your last win or your last victory or your last great month in this business, right? That's all you're as good at. You got to look ahead. You got to continue to plan. You got to evolve. You got to keep good people around you. Like, there's so many synergies and similarities. So it's been, I don't know, it's kind of been this nice dance between the two of my martial arts background and business in this space because of those stark similarities.
So I don't get confused. So did I hear you got a gold medal?
Yeah, so this was in the World Championship. So we confuse it sometimes, and I have to always clarify because out of respect for Olympians, which I know some that compete in Taekwondo. Our style of Taekwondo competes in what is called the World Championships, the Pan America Games, and the World Cups.
Yeah.
There's another style of Taekwondo that just does the Olympics. What we do actually is a little bit bigger, because the Olympics, people don't realize this, but when you go to the Olympics, the Olympics is so broad and encompassing. But when you look at a small sport like Taekwondo, there might be, like, in your category, like 5 people, but it's the Olympics, right? So you win one, you're pretty much in a medal round. When you go to the World Championships for Taekwondo, there's no other sports. It's 1,000 athletes, just Taekwondo, 50 countries. Like, it's really immersed. So it's a little bit of a different style. But yes, so that I basically ended my career with 2 World Championships, 2 gold medals, and 1 other international gold, which was a Euro Cup from 2014. So
it was be like framed right behind you on every Zoom call. Like, that's freaking awesome, dude.
I tried to use it to help me in my dating life when I was single, and it didn't really go. It didn't really carry out here in San Francisco. But
I'd be walking around with them around my neck all the time.
They're in a safe, and I share them with my 6-year-old from time to time, and like we look at them and stuff because I want to try and instill a lot of those same lessons in her. But you're right. I think it might be time to dust those things off and maybe hang them up.
Yeah. Well, okay. So question here. You know that Mike Tyson quote, everybody's got to play it until they get punched in the face. So brilliant. your mental strength to get hit, punched, flipped, and everything through Taekwondo, what I love about that is, like, you've got to be super resilient in mortgage if you've got that kind of level mental strength, because, like, I tell you, how many loan officers fall apart when they get a paper cut?
Totally.
And like, so how do you relate if you get punched in the face, you keep your plan? Like, how do you stay intact with your vision?
Well, yeah, this business will break your heart, right? So many different ways. The rejection, the getting your shins kicked in. Again, like I said, you have to sing for your supper, and just it'll wear you out if you let it. And that's the punch in the mouth. And you said it perfectly. Mike Tyson might be a crazy guy, but that quote is so deep and philosophical and genius, whatever you want to call it. Like, and it's attached to him. And everybody does have a plan. And so much of life, people go about being prepared and getting ready for something, and then just think I have to execute and you get done. But you take into no account the variable that you have no control over, which is that blind spot or the element of surprise or the punch in the mouth. And when it happens, what do? And that's really what separates those who succeed from those who don't. I heard this great quote from somebody on a panel. It was a billionaire, and he talked about the traits that billionaires have that others don't. And it's not much. He says it's not that we're that special of people, but one of the traits he talked about was a high level of AQ, which is adaptability quotient. It's the cousin of EQ and IQ.
Okay.
The ability to adapt and recognize that when things aren't going well, or when you get punched in the face, that you don't just fall down and panic and say, oh my God, like it was all for nothing. I can't believe this happened. No, you have to almost expect that things will go wrong. I would coach our guys, and I would tell them on the day of team competition, which is always on the final day of the World Championships. And it's the most fun because you'll have, if you think of like the gymnastics team where they have like 6 people and they compete in like 4 different events and you get the all around team award. This was something that I loved coaching, but I would tell our guys in the morning, like, something today is going to go completely against what we have, because we've got 4 events to compete in. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be a storm. There's chants and flags and people like shouting at us, whatever. Like, something today is going to really throw us off. How well we adapt to it and roll with that is going to determine whether we end this day on a podium or if we completely crumble. And we had years where we crumbled, where we weren't as prepared for it. And then on the final year, our overall team in 2022, our men's team won for the first time in U.S. history, won the all around men's gold. And we were so well mentally conditioned for that I think like that's what really got us there. So to your point, everybody's got a plan until you get punched in the face. I think what you need to do is anticipate the punches coming. The biggest mistake you can make is that everything's just going to be a straight line, right? It's a straight line. If I do this, I do this, and I do this. And a lot of that's ingrained in us. It's part of real estate culture in general. Like, look at real estate agents. If I mail out X number of postcards to a farm, I'll get this many calls back, which will result in this many meetings, and you get 1 listing. They have these formulas, so you're constantly trained in this ROI quotient. It's very linear. Mortgage can be similar. Blast your database X number of times, result in this many emails back, applications, X number of refinances. So I think we can all kind of fall victim to that, but at the end of the day, if we want to have longevity in this business or this industry or anything in life, step out of that and recognize that shit's going to go wrong, shit will hit the fan, and anticipate that as best as you can. And it's something I continually do. Like, where are the blind spots? Just seeing. It's not being negative and thinking what's going to go wrong. It's what could go wrong. But more importantly, when it does, inevitably, how am I going to react to it? Or what's my backup plan? What's the contingency?
Well, I think also when you look at anybody with success, millionaire, billionaire, whatever, they've gone through so much struggle. But the difference is, from my point of view, and again, I'm not a billionaire, but my gut tells me is not only they anticipate what's going wrong of what you just said, but they truly believe in their heart of hearts that success is for rent. You don't own success, and rent is due every day.
That's right, man. So right.
When you look at it in mortgage, I can't tell you how many loan officers I've talked to that like their heart's broken because they've been prospecting this ABC realtor for like the longest time, taking them to lunches and coffees. But they go on social media and they see the realtor posted a closing with another loan officer in their marketplace. And they're like, oh, there's no loyalty. There's like loyalty in mortgage is not more loyalty in mortgage is for rent. You don't own it. And
that's right.
That's one of the biggest things I really, really try to embark on the 24/7 mindset loan officers. If you want loyalty, then you've got to learn to be able to put money in your realtor's pockets.
That's it.
You can't put money in your realtor's pocket. You're renting success 100% of the time.
So true.
Until a loan officer learns how to generate their own loans, generate their own referrals from wealth partners, generate their own opportunities from their database, until you can learn to generate for yourself, you are renting success.
So true. You have to be able to command the transactions. You have to, if you want to turn the tables and change the dynamic, then yeah, that's what it's going to come down to. Because agents are only as faithful as their options. And if you're not a viable option that's bringing some real good value to the table, then you're just that. You're just an option. But if you want to be the key player, you're going to have to do something different than just being a transactionalist because maybe you're not the right fit. And it's easy, again, for people to take it so personal. I used to do it all the time. We're human beings. Nobody likes rejection. Everybody wants to be seen as and acknowledged. And it hurts when they were seeing you and then all of a sudden they drop you.
Yeah.
Right. But one, you can't take it personal. Two, you have to recognize that this just sometimes it's a visibility thing, or maybe it was just value. You didn't get the nod, you didn't get that closing, you didn't do the thing because they didn't see the value. So it's not their fault. You can't be mad at them and say there's no loyalty. You have to step up and outvalue your competition, so to speak, right? Outvalue, like just be more. Every time I lose, and I still, guys, I lose relationships all the time. They happen all the time, right? There's going to continually happen. As you said, like it's rented. Well, you said it perfectly. It's not owned. Like I don't own the rights to any relationship. I have no proprietary exclusivity grasp on any one relationship, whatever. Like people are gonna do. It's an open and free market. But every time I lose, the initial human tendency is to be like, well, F that guy or F this person or God dang this guy, that banker got to get. And I do. I'm a human being, so I do that for 5 seconds. But then I just stop and think, you know what? Actually, this is all my fault. I didn't exert either enough value. I didn't make it clear enough how good I am. I didn't make it clear enough why I'm indispensable and you have to have me alongside. So what do I have to do better? And we just go back to the drawing board and get better. Tweak, tweak, tweak. All those people that like lose in finals and then just keep going back and keep getting up only to get knocked off again, right? They're going back to the drawing board, trying to retool, and then eventually they have the breakthrough. That's not by accident. It's by acknowledging that something didn't go right. We got to fix something. Maybe it's a small tweak, whatever it is, but just use it as an opportunity to get better.
Oh, I was writing an email to my team of loan officers yesterday, and I said, I fail so much every day. And because I fail so much every day, I succeed so much every day. And when you look at, like, I think when you can change your mindset from, oh, I lost ABC Realtors business, or some such and such stole this business from me, you've got to understand failure is part of success, and you can't succeed without failure. There's a quote that I wrote down yesterday that I thought was absolutely just marvelous, and it talked about how, well, I guess I'll write down a lot of quotes, but it was something along the lines of, fast success equals ego, slow success equals character.
I love it.
And when you look at a loan officer, if you land your first 8 realtor and you get a business from your first realtor, how valuable do you really feel that is? You start thinking like you're good, ego, blah blah blah. But when you fail, then succeed, how much more valuable is that relationship? And that's just part of success. That's just part.
It is. It's so true, Wally, because I tell people with like even with records, do you want to work with somebody who's 50-0? Or would you rather work with somebody who's 48-2? And with an asterisk, those 2 losses came kind of either in the middle or early in their career. 100%. I'd rather take the guy with the 2 losses because they've clearly, adjusted to the adversity. The person who's 50-0 is set for a massive catastrophic fall. That could be like to the point where like they'll never be able to like put themselves back together again because this false sense of security of like winning and never actually losing. Everything they touch turns to gold. And then when it inevitably happens, that fall is going to be so much more or so much further, right? To the point where like they may not be able to get up as opposed to someone who's lost or experienced that. So I love that you say that because that's so true.
Well, I think it's also the wisdom of higher successful people that we follow. Like I was in the sauna this morning listening to a Alex Hormozi YouTube video. And what Hormozi said, he talked about how in business, when things start going really well, he doesn't double down on what's going really well. He figures out if he could step out and attack whatever business he's in and just kill it, how would someone beat him in his business? And then he goes and fixes those constraints that are not constraints yet. And then he doubles down.
Yeah.
What I think about that wisdom is like when you have a record month as a loan officer, most loan officers are like, oh, it's awesome. I'm so great. I'm so great. I'm so great. But if you go back and study why you almost could have lost that one loan, or if the market didn't turn in your favor,
so true,
and the rates got lower or someone else, where could you have added more value? And if you realize where things that could go wrong in your mortgage business and you fix those holes, they don't become like these big craters that bankrupt someone's business.
Very true. And that's, listen, I bet everyone that's in the business and the industry, like if you're hearing that, write it down and circle it. That's probably the most important part of this talk here is to be able to go back and fix those things, because this business and this industry will continue to teach you the lesson until you learn it. So the shit's going to keep happening. You'll keep having the same loss. It's going to like show it to you again. Like, it's learn your lesson day around here every day, you
Every day.
know? Every day it's learn your lesson day, so you better learn it and make the adjustment and the tweaks so that you can prevent it, because it'll show you what's wrong.
So we've got about another 7 minutes left. Talk to us a little bit about what is LFG and how do loan officers that are inspired by you or industry experts want to get involved in LFG?
Yeah, so it started off, like I said, as this logo or this phrase, and I'm not the one who coined it, right? Like so many athletes say it, we just had it and it was written down, and then I wanted to do something with it, and then it was a Ryan Serhant event that I was hosting where I needed to quickly, in the moment, come up with another entity that had nothing to do with finance or mortgage, because we were about to lose the event and I had already sold tickets, and the website was, I was about to be humiliated that I'm bringing Ryan Serhant to San Francisco and now he's not coming because of a void here in the deal. So I looked down and I saw this logo sitting on my desk, which was at the time just handwritten, but now it's actually like the actual logo. And I said, yeah, LFG Energy Presents. That's the event host. And they're like, great, done, no problem. Like, what does it stand for? I said, let's fucking go. They're like, we love it. So cool. No mention of finance or mortgage or capital. Like, we're good. So that's where it started. And since then, as an event hosting platform, a podcast was born, and then a private online community for all people that want to just get better at life. Because if they're better here and more fulfilled here and here, and we address that, then the execution part, which is what typically most masterminds are all a part of. And this is not a mastermind. It's a community, and it's something that's supposed to complement masterminds, complement coaching, like what you do so well, right? With you and Kai. It's complementary to that. So, but it focuses here and here. And if we have that addressed, then this becomes much, much easier. And I feel like that's what was missing. So I wanted to start something that helped elevate people, where they'd feel seen, where they felt like they had real backing and they had access and proximity to stuff that they otherwise normally wouldn't, whether it's key people, thought leadership, content, higher level coaching, whatever it is. And it's been a really, really fun journey. And we're, the community itself is 2 years old now. LFG as a concept is 3 years old. And I feel like it's only just getting started. So if you're looking for a place that, others will have your back, it's a great place for you to grow and evolve. And it's like this co-ed online fraternity, but in the best of ways, then this is a fantastic community. And again, it doesn't replace anything else that you have. I feel there are all sorts of complementary things that we can do that make everything else we're doing so much stronger and better. So if you're already part of masterminds or you're part of good coaching, this is something that complements that. It by no means is meant to replace it. And vice versa. The things that you're doing in those masterminds will actually make you more of an impactful player in this community as well.
So when you look at that, is it a certain industry? Is it a certain like demographic? Like what?
No, it's industry agnostic. Wally, it started off as mortgage and real estate because that's when I launched the event. That's who all was in my audience, or when I launched the community. Now I'd say of our membership, it's about 50% are in mortgage and real estate. The other 50 are athletes, college students. A lot of Team USA members are part of it because they just love the mindset focus. Creatives, designers, architects. We've got an entertainment attorney that's in the group because he just loves the community itself. So it's very industry agnostic, which is exactly how I wanted it, because I feel like there's so much we can learn from other industries and spaces. But at the end of the day, the one thing that everybody has in common, forget about the workplace, everyone's a human being and everyone wants to get better and have more of an impact. That's pretty much the main requirements. So that's where the common thread is.
Well, again, it goes back to what I said earlier. I love your authenticity. I love your genuineness. I love how you pour your heart into it. And I bet it's just an amazing community. So how does someone sign up? Like how do they get involved?
It's just societylfg.com. If you, that's the website. And then you can always reach out to me on Instagram at Arjun Mortgage. It's always me that answers. It might take a day or two, but I interface with everyone in there. So if you just reach out to me, we'll connect on there. I'm happy to talk to you about it and share the community with you. And we meet once a month online, and we have some bonus calls. There's a massive library of great content. And tomorrow is our call. Actually, I'm just doing business planning with everybody, regardless of their industry. But yeah, that's how people can learn more about it.
Are there also live events you do, or no?
We do an in-person event. which we just had in December. Kai was out here for it. It was fantastic. It was our one in-person event called Society Day, which is like a full day mastermind followed by a holiday dinner. So that's always going to be on the first Friday of December every year for all the members. But yeah, the online space, the bonus calls. I do a lot of meetups in cities when I'm traveling because I travel a lot to speak for the industry and at events, and I'll do a meetup. If I'm in Seattle, we have a lot of members there. We'll do meetups and invite new people into the fold. So we try and make it as social as we can and collaborate. But yeah, that's the long and short of it.
Yeah. Speaking of that first Friday in December, I had my company mastermind that day, and I invited Kai to come speak at, and he's like, "Yeah, I can't go." I'm like, "Dude, like you're the president of 24/7 Mindset."
I'm sorry, Wally.
He goes, "Well, no, I mean, I'm doing Arjun's LFG." I'm like, "Fudge." All right, so I moved the date up a whole entire day, reorganized it. He's like, "All right, can you come now?" And he's like, "All right, yeah, I'll come now." But
one, I'm sorry, Wally, but number two, thank you for doing that because we needed him speaking at this thing because he was one of our 4 main workshop leaders. So I appreciate you being flexible with it, and it looks like it was a win for both of us.
It was an absolute win for both of us. I tease him all the time, like, "Man, I didn't know it was second fiddle to Arjun. I got to get to know this guy."
No, not at all, man. Listen, as we wrap this up, you have a tremendous admiration and respect for you, not as a mortgage, just as a mortgage professional, because you've obviously done so well in it and your results speak for itself. You're very humble about it. But more importantly, the life that you lead and live. I mean, you've raised 2 great sons. You clearly have a very close and connected relationship with your wife. I see what you put out there. I see that your family comes before everything else. I admire and respect it. I think more people in our industry need to follow suit. You chase all the right things, man, and like things are just you're a very aligned person, and it's obvious. So it's an honor to be able to connect with you. I appreciate you having me on, and I know we're going to collaborate on a lot more stuff, man. So keep doing your thing.
Well, sounds good. Well, everybody, we're going to drop the links below for LFG and also his Instagram. I highly, highly recommend if you want to really make 2026 your best year ever, sign up for LFG below. And if there's anything I can do to help you in the mortgage or outside mortgage space for 24/7 mindset, please reach out to me. I'd love to help.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you again, man.
We'll see you soon, brother. Talk to you then.
So thank you so much for listening today. It means a lot you took time out of your day. I don't take that lightly. Understand very clearly that you're very busy. With that being said, if you want to continue your journey and learn more about 24/7 Mindset, if you're on Facebook, which I'm going to guess you are, then go to 24/7 Mindset on Facebook and join the private community. I do coaching tips on there on a daily basis, but from scripts on there to systems on there, models, and the ability to be able to grow and scale a business while you have a quality of life. Hope to see you there.